All right, watercolor people with the mountain landscape. We're going to be doing it a little bit differently than the colored pencil people, okay? So we are going to be working from the background forward, but we're not going to be doing the sky. So we're starting with our mountain that's the furthest distance back. So that is going to be our lightest value if we compare that to the value chart that we made. So whatever color you're using for that, I am using a light blue. So I'm going to start by having some kind of cup, or if you do have a palette, that's great. And just mixing up a little bit of blue. Well, actually, in this case, you want to mix up a little bit more than what we were doing before because we're painting in a whole mountain range. And one thing that you want to do is make sure that you have enough paint to paint in the entire mountain range. So mix up and use a little bit more paint than what we are used to using. And then again, we are making sure that this is a nice light value. So we're going to make sure that we have to have a decent amount of water in this one. So this is our lightest value. And again, you could check this against that value chart that we created. And I recommend having a scrap sheet of paper and just painting this out so you can make sure it's the value that we want to use. So I actually want to go a little bit lighter than what I have here. So I would have more paint than that mixed up. I'm just going to do a little section of mine so that you guys can see how to do this. All right, so again, we're not painting anything in the sky. We're just going to paint that furthest mountain back. So take your time, make sure that we have some nice clean edges on everything, and make sure that you're going all the way off the edge of the paper as you're painting, okay? So I'll fill in this whole mountain range, and then we got to let that dry before we paint this next section. But if you think you're going to have enough time in class, you can start mixing up the color for this next row. That will be a mixture of the two colors that you're using, but again, it's only a little bit darker than the mountain in front of it. So you could start mixing that up, so by the time it's dry, you'll be mixed and ready to paint that next section of mountains. Okay, I'll talk to you guys in a bit.